or lease in the morning.
And the garbage just keeps flowing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Breaking Badger News. I'm your host, as always, your friendly neighborhood Simpsons kin. It's Max Starrett. And joining me for this particular edition is the Silverback Simian himself, co-host of Big and Robot. He is Scott. Oh, Scott, we have a lot to talk about today. I know you're just busting at the seams to talk about this particular story.
Oh, man. You know this. You know this.
Yes. Obviously what we're going to be talking about today is just the fallout from VidCon. You know, everybody who's anybody, especially if you're listening to this video, knows about famed internet feminist Anita Sarkeesian calling Sargon of Akkad, whose real name is Carl Benjamin, calling him a garbage human. But today, we just sort of got a follow-up to that whole scenario, and we're going to be talking about it today. So, the aforementioned Anita Sarkeesian, she released a statement on her, it was her main website, right, responding to this whole thing. Yeah, right on Feminist Frequency. And God, just as I'm reading it, I'm just going, no. It's like that one scene from South Park where Stan asks Cartman to give one of his kidneys to Kyle, and then he's all like, no. That's exactly what I was like reading this whole thing. So I summarized everything in this article into 6 points, just so you guys don't have to read it and mentally torture yourselves. So, in response
I would suggest people check it out, though. Like, see the totality of this thing, and just see the straw man, the fallacy, the straw man, the fallacy, the straw man, the fallacy. You know, it's just, there's all kinds of bullshit going on here. I mean, you know. Yeah. But if you want to save yourself the trouble, we have done the work for you. So. Yeah,
if you want, like, I guess maybe if you're a psychology student and you want to get a closer insight into just how mental gymnastics can work and how people can manifest oppression out of nowhere, it's actually a great piece to read. So anyways, in response to the outcry Anita Sarkeesian received for calling one of her critics, the aforementioned Sargon of Akkad, a garbage human to his face, she released the statement titled, On VidCon, Harassment and Garbage Humans. She says that Sargon of Akkad is one of several...
Isn't that a microaggression, though? Isn't she performing a microaggression by calling him a garbage human?
Yeah, it's almost like she's doing the exact same thing that she criticizes him for doing.
Right?
I know.
It's just weird. I'm sorry, but continue, please. Apologies.
Yes. So she says Sargon of Akkad is one of several YouTubers who mock, insult, and discredit her for money. She also says the followers of anti-feminist YouTubers, particularly Sargon, quote, harass her and other women who make videos daring to assert the basic humanity of women, people of color, trans folks, and members of other marginalized groups. Well, Anita, see, the thing is, we wish to assert their basic humanity as well. We just don't like it when you do it because you do it in a very patronizing way. But anyways, she says the tactic of anti-feminists is to dismiss the idea of being traumatized by cyber mob harassment. God, Melody Hensley all over again. And that everyone is treated... Yeah, and that everyone is treated the same. She says there is no comparison because male anti-feminists occupy, quote, a position of power in an overwhelmingly sexist patriarchal culture.
Here, let me stop you right there real quick.
Yeah, man.
She's talking about male people, whatever she said, male anti-feminists. Yeah, hold a position of power. Yet this is one of the things that stood out to me the most, is that she is speaking from probably the most privileged position you could possibly have. She's been to the fucking UN. She made millions of dollars for fucking nothing. For not even finishing her Kickstarter. She made millions of dollars. She is routinely paid $20,000 to speak at colleges all across the United States and God knows where else. And yet she is not in a position of privilege and power? Please, get the fuck out of here. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Get the fuck on.
In respect to anti-feminists having like a platform to speak on, the only person I can think of is somebody like Milo Yiannopoulos. And even with him, he gets... Like, I know he's a rich guy,
well,
but...
I don't know that he's an anti-feminist so much as he's just in general provocateur.
True. But yeah, just trying to find somebody within that sphere. Aside from him, I can't think of anybody else. Whereas people like her get all the money and all the platforms that she wants.
Absolutely.
Anyways, moving on. Responding to Sargon and the other anti-feminist YouTubers just sitting there, which is what they were doing, you know, what people
we have video
like,
proof of it too.
Yes, we have video proof of it too. You got Computing Forever, you got Vernaculus, you got Chris Reagan, you got Sargon just sitting in the front row at her talk, not saying anything, just sitting there. And that was sort of their defense as, you know, she says that they're there to intimidate her, but they were just sitting there. This is what
sitting is intimidation, Max. That is the new paradigm. Sitting is it's a tool of the patriarchy to keep them down.
Yes,
while
I can't imagine how she would try to address Buddhism. But anyways, when she says the following in response to that, she says, "When you have a history of harassing someone for years and you show up in the front row at their panel with a camera and an entourage, that is not an act of good faith, to put it mildly. That is itself an act of harassment and intimidation."
No.
And she goes on.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not, but you're wrong. I mean, you can say it all day, but you're still fucking wrong, Anita Sarkeesian. You're fucking wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, she goes on to say, "It's a deliberate act to create an environment that feels hostile, to communicate to us that if and when we dare to show up in public to express the ideas that we express online, the harassment will follow us into the physical world as well.
You better watch out later. We're going to come sit at you."
Come sit at you. Yeah, it's like everywhere you go in public, you know, Sargon is just going to be there. It's not like he lives in the UK or anything. It's not like you can go give a talk somewhere outside of San Francisco. Go ahead.
You know what, though? Maybe this is the next man-spreading. Like, man-sitting or something. I don't even know. It's just, I'm so on the cusp of something great here, Max. I just don't know.
It's like, it's the offshoot of, you know, driving while black. This is sitting while anti-feminist.
Oh my God. I love it.
Okay. And just to finish up, she says, Sargon, quote, "cannot imagine what it is to spend years and years being the target of floods of harassment and hate, and then to still go out there and keep fighting. Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure he was doxxed."
Oh, right. Absolutely. But here's another thing. This is funny. He was just on Joe Rogan's podcast. I was watching that. Yeah. And he made a really good point, right? Sarkeesian started making her videos back in, was it 2010? 2009, 2012 or whatever? Back then, she was complaining about being harassed. And Sargon didn't make his first video until 2013. Mm-hmm. But now, you know, all of a sudden, he is the cause. Him specifically is the cause. Carl Benjamin is the cause of all the harassment she has endured over the years.
I thought Thunderfoot was the cause. Sorry,
okay.
What the hell happened?
Touche. But I mean, you know what? That's what I'm saying, though. If you look at the timeline, though, he didn't start until 2013, and yet he is still the cause. This is perfectly encapsulating of the victim narrative that is intersectional feminism or feminism in general. There's always somebody that is doing these things to you, even when they're literally sitting there not speaking. They will always be the victim. We were the victim of their sitting in a group of people. There were a row of people there, and they sat there at our thing, and it was, I was oppression.
Your safe space doesn't translate to real life, Anita. In respect to Joe Rogan, I was watching that as well. On that same show, Sargon said to not harass Anita.
Yeah, he's always said that.
Because, yeah, he's always said that. Yeah. And he said it makes total sense why he would say that. It's because she's not going to listen to you anyways. And plus, when you harass her, it just feeds into her pocket.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. So just like, why is he leading this if he's the one that's actively saying don't do this? And he's making a very good point. Anyways, moving on to the last thing. This is probably the one that pissed me off the most. So after this whole ordeal happened a few days ago at VidCon, there's a YouTuber that I've been recently introduced to named Bunty King. And this guy's just awesome. Yeah. I'm so glad I came across him. He was with Sargon, and he said in a video that he posted to Twitter in addressing Miss Sarkeesian, he said that he believed that women are powerful, and he wanted to apologize because he shouted that out at her panel, although she might have taken it the wrong way, right? So he said that. And he also said that he wanted to give Anita the chance to speak and be heard out. And then he also followed it up by saying that that was something that she never gave to the anti-feminists. Okay. And then Anita, in her response on her website, she actually addressed Bunty King's video and said this. Said the following. Oh. She rejected Bunty King's explanations, saying that it was, quote, instead to intimidate me and put me on edge, and says that
of course.
Denying her... Yeah, and says that denying her that particular assertion is, quote, part of their strategy. And also, she says that Bunty King said in the video, women are powerful enough to deal with things like workplace harassment and rape. Except he did not say that.
Right.
See, this is what I was talking about. If you're a
that,
psychology student, if you want to just see somebody trying to invent a problem out of thin air, Bunty King, you just watch that guy and the stuff that he talks about. For a goddamn fact, they would never say that women are powerful enough to deal with rape.
Right.
I don't think he even mentioned rape, but anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Scott.
Oh, no. I was just going to agree with you. But like one of the points that I thought was really interesting though, is towards the bottom of this thing, she goes, however, despite the turnover harassment, I recently made a conscious decision to participate more regularly in panels and conversations at public events because I wanted to engage with people who show up in good faith to listen to our ideas. Mm-hmm. And one of this is demonstrably and verifiably not true, along with every other fucking thing she said. Because a guy comes up and I think he asked in good faith. He was like, I just want to know, do you actually believe in the things like that you espouse? He asked her that. And I thought that was a legitimate question because, you're in a public forum, you're asking people to ask you questions and their response, what was their response? Get him out of here. Call security. Get him out of here. He's harassing us. No, he was asking you a question, and this shows very clearly that, and we've got years worth of examples where Sarkeesian is not interested in a discussion. This is not about discussion or elevating conversation. This is about subjugation. This is about her being the priestess of feminism and preaching at people. That's all this is, and that was a very clear moment of that. She didn't want to hear what this guy had to say. She just wanted him out of there because he was a fucking harasser. He was a toxic, masculine, whatever, sitting in front of her kind of thing, whatever. But it's very clear her motivations. And the only thing of this, like to kind of wrap this thought up real quick here, is the thing that this showed me when she was at the panel, there's a very good reason why to this point she hasn't ever responded, because she is incredibly immature. She can't handle it. She has no fucking tough skin. She is such a fucking, we call them snowflakes for a reason, because they melt and they shrink under even the most mild scrutiny. And literally just sitting there was enough to send her into a fucking tizzy. I mean, duh. Wow, didn't see that one coming. Come on now, please. No, it's more and more though. It's like, I used to think that she was simply a grifter, but I actually do now think that she believes this shit. I still think she's a fucking grifter, but I think she actually believes this shit. So.
She still believes this shit, but she's more so she's an opportunist first before she's a moralist, in my opinion. Absolutely. Before we finish off, I just want to recommend that, she says that she's going to be participating in more panels like this. Please, if somebody has the opportunity to go there, just verbatim, I want you to ask this question. Be like, hi, Anita. I've been a fan of your content for years. I found it very entertaining. There's this one particular statement that I always found very interesting that you made like a few years ago. And I was just wondering if I could bring it up and get your comments on it. I'm not a fan of video games. I actually had to learn a lot about video games in the process of making this. What are your thoughts on that particular statement? Please, somebody, please just make that happen. I'm so surprised that didn't happen this past week at VidCon.
Oh, it'll happen at some point if she continues to go down this road of this faux engagement fucking tour.
Yeah. And you just know, predominantly trolls are going to show up there, which I'm not really entirely in favor of. I want people to actually ask her legitimate questions, but still it's going to be entertaining.
I would, like you said, that's going to be a problem. There are going to be trolls that are going to come up and be like, fuck you, you're a bitch, shit like that. But I want to see people actually challenge her. I want to see people take the stand and ask her thoughtful, honest questions and see if she will actually engage. Because to this point, we have not seen that happen. It has been the preacher up on the podium giving her sermon, and that's it. So I want to see how she holds up, and I think she will fucking crack every single time. Like if she is confronted with an honest, sincere, serious question, I think she will crack every single time. And I hope that is something that is repeated time and time again, so that these people that have propped her up for the last, 4 or 5 years or whatever it's been, I hope they start to see that and they're like, wait a minute, this is kind of weird. This person just asked you a legitimate question. They were sincere and they really were engaging you in good faith, it seemed. And you fucking blew them off and had them escorted out by security? What the fuck's that about? That's what I want to happen. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case.
I I gotta say that I had this image in my mind of Lacey Green just being at one of these talks, walking up to the microphone and just saying, Gamergate did nothing wrong. Anyways, that'll do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. That would be the greatest. Anyways, that'll do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Please let us know all your thoughts on this particular topic that we talked about. Do you agree? Do you disagree? After everything that we have to say, it's not really what we have to say, it's what you guys have to say that's really interesting. So please leave your comments below. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like. And if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. I want to thank the Silverback Simeon himself for coming on the show at such short notice. It's always a pleasure having his thoughts in respect to...
Thank you for having me.
No problem, dude, especially in respect to gaming stuff. And until next time, have a lovely, lovely week.